So this summer, we've been blessed with a lot of international tournaments going on in the off-season. I mean, besides the Copa America and the Africa Cup of Nations, which are the major ones, there are some youth international tournaments that us career mode fans are absolutely loving at the moment. First off, we had the Under-17 Euros going on, and just recently, the Under-20 World Cup just wrapped up in Poland, and now the youth tournament kicking off. It's in full swing, the Under-21 Euros. My nation of Italy is hosting it this year in 2019, and as we move on to the knockout rounds, there are a lot of big nations going home. Countries like Italy, Belgium, and most importantly for this video, England are going home early. With some of the best wonder kids in the world, you'd expect them to at least make the semis, but there's only room for 4 nations and someone's gonna go home. So in today's video, we are taking the England Under-21 Euros national team that were competing in Italy this year. One of the favorites, to be honest, for this competition, and I was expecting them to go further than they did. Only getting 1 point in all 3 group games, losing the opening 2 matches, drawing the last one against Croatia. Going into this, they were looking very strong, but unfortunately for Adi Boothroyd and his men, they are going home early. So you know what it is, you know what we've gone ahead and done. We've put the entire U21 England national team into FIFA 19 career mode, and this time, unlike in other youth international videos we've done on the channel in the past few weeks, every single player in this side is in FIFA, so it's going to be an exact perfect recreation of the squad. We've put them all into Aston Villa, recently promoted to the Premier League in real life, and we're going to see if they will be able to survive the Premier League. Guys, it's going to be the first of a few UEFA Under-21 Euros videos, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Make sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. Hit the like button down below, helps the video out so much. Follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description, and comment down below who your favorite upcoming Under-21 English wonder kids are, as we're going to start off in the team. We're going to look through it, and believe me, it is very strong. In goal, we got 3 goalkeepers. Dean Henderson, who was out on loan at Sheffield United this season, he was the starting goalkeeper for England. Angus Gunn was on the bench, and Freddie Woodman was the 3rd choice. We got the man who is rumoured to be going to Manchester United this summer, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the Crystal Palace right back, who recently burst onto the scene. He scored an own goal in the first game, so he didn't really have a tournament to remember. As we move on to John Joe Kenny, he scored an actual goal in the last game against Croatia, the 3-3 draws. We move on to the starting centre-back, Jake Clark-Salter. Yet another one of the Chelsea loanees. The list just keeps on going for them as we move on to Fikayo Tomori, the man who took Derby County all the way to the playoff final in the championship. Ezri Konza is a decent little backup centre-back. We move on to Jay Da Silva, a left-back, and our second left-back here, Lloyd Kelly, who I believe has moved to Bournemouth from Bristol City this summer, so he'll be making his Premier League debut very soon. As we move on to a man who's already been playing in the Premier League, Hamzah Chowdhury, the Leicester City midfielder, who absolutely took a French player out in the first game, literally a 2-foot to give away a penalty. He got a red carded in the first game as well. Like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, didn't really have the tournament to remember. As we move on to Morgan Gibbs-White, the Wolves wonder kid, the English midfielder is quite versatile as well, got a big future ahead of him, only 18 years of age, just like Ryan Sessegnon, Fulham's wonder kid, the starting left back for this team, and is an absolute gem at the left back position. As we move on to yet another Leicester player, Demarai Gray, the left midfielder slash centre forward, is 22 years of age. I believe he signed up for this tournament before he was 21. I think that's how it works. I don't know, don't ask me. There's a 23-year-old George Puskás playing for Romania, so I don't know how these U21 tournament rules work. But Demarai Gray had a decent little tournament. I believe he scored a goal in there as well, so he will be a great fit at left midfielder, just like Phil Foden, who scored in the opening game against France to get England's campaign off to a great start. Phil Foden, of course, the Manchester City wonder kid, an insane potential on FIFA 19, and yeah, he made it into this Under-21 squad. As we move on to James Madison, the hidden gem that had a brilliant season out at Leicester in the centre attack and midfield position. That's exactly where he's going to play for this Aston Villa side, and you'd think he'd be the main playmaker. As we move on to Kieran Dow, the Evertonian who was out on loan this season, still only 20 years of age, but the man on every Chelsea fan's lips at the moment, Mason Mount, who was out on loan at Derby County. As you can tell, there's a trend. A lot of these players were out on loan, getting some valuable game time and experience for their careers, as he as well as Tomori took Derby County all the way to the playoff final. final in the championship, 74 rated. Of course, he's another gun on career mode. He got the call up just like Rhys Nelson, and yet again, following the trend of being out on loan, he had a little journey off to Hoffenheim. He was in Germany this season, doing well for them. The winger will be starting at the right wing. Rhys Nelson, the gunner, he's going back to Arsenal, but Tammy Abraham, yet another Chelsea loanee, out on loan at Villa. He got them up to the Premier League. Tammy Abraham, a great little player to buy in career mode as well. He is going to be leading the front line for us. He's going to be our target man in this side, as well as Dominic Solanke off the bench. Calvert-Lewin is our third choice striker, or maybe Dominic Solanke is our third choice striker. Calvert-Lewin can come off the bench and cause some havoc. But Solanke, I believe, is at Bournemouth now, and Calvert-Lewin still at Everton. So we have three very decent strike options here. The under-21s are absolutely killing it for England in FIFA 19, as well as Harvey Barnes, a backup left winger for Demarai Gray, and yet again is another Leicester player. So there's been a lot of Leicester players, a lot of players who have been out on loan this season, a few players who've burst onto the scene this season or last season. So a very interesting squad from the England under-21s. Of course, there's probably one guy that you guys are all thinking, why isn't he on this list? Jadon Sancho, he actually didn't go to this tournament. Obviously, he's not going to be in the squad because he's not in the tournament. It's the UEFA U21 team, not just U21 England talent in general. But this is how they will be lining up. A 4-3-3, a very attacking 4-3-3 at that. We got Madison at the center attacking mid. Tammy Abraham leading the lineup top. Demarai Gray, Rhys Nelson on the wings. We have Phil Foden and Chowdhury with a little central midfield partnership there. Tamori and Clark Salter will be the centre-back partnership, and on the wing-backs we have Sessegnon, Wan-Bissaka and Henderson in between the sticks. I believe that's very similar to how they lined up in real life. This is going to be the bench. Calvert-Lewin, Barnes, Mount, Solanke, Gunn, Kenny and Dow will all be ready to come off the bench. Very, very solid substitutes there. You can see Calvert-Lewin, Barnes and Mount being super subs there. As we move on to the reserves, Konsa, Kelly, De Silva, Gibbs-White and Woodman will be sitting in the reserves. So a tight squad, not too deep of a squad, but you'll be thinking they'll be favourites just like they went into the U21 Euros to get out of the championship this season. Of course, we're going to simulate into the future. We're going to see how this U21 Euro side do for England. Let's take a little look in a few seasons time to see how they grow, develop and perform as one team in the leagues. Can they make their way up to the Premier League? I assume so. Can they qualify for the Champions League? We're going to have to find out. Let's see how the U21 England national side perform in season number 1. And as expected, the U21 Englishmen in their first ever season have finished well on top of the championship with 88 points. They've passed in flying colours here. 24 wins, 16 draws and 6 losses for the villains, meaning they get promotion to the Premier League, the first division of English football. They are indeed Premier League and have proved their worth in the second division here. Norwich come up as well, and we have Stoke City, Leeds, Derby County and Hull all making the playoffs. Although in the FA Cup they did get knocked out in the round 4 replay up against Brighton 1-0, and also in the Carabao Cup round 2 was the exit against Brentford 1-0. So overall a very decent season for the English Wonder Kids. They got promoted. That's all we really wanted or needed. They came in first position. They were clearly head and shoulders above the rest in the championship. But we're going to take a look at who the top performers were for season number 1, and it's Rhys Nelson getting 54 appearances for the side, 10 goals and 5 assists for him. As we move down to Phil Foden, 10 goals and 9 assists, nearly double digits, both goals and assists for Phil Foden, but a very decent season as well as Calvert-Lewin, the Evertonian, being our top goal scorer this season off the bench. Very impactful season from him and a decent attacking output there, as well as Lloyd Kelly from left back getting 3 assists, 1 goal. Tammy Abraham and Barnes off the bench also getting double figures in goals, which is very good to see. Ryan Sessegnon from left back getting 6 goals. Gibbs-White off the bench also getting 6 goals and 6 assists. A decent output from him. Wan-Bissaka only getting 2 goals, still decent. James Madison, the main playmaker, you'd expect a bit more from him. He only got 2 goals and 4 assists there. Kieran Dow, 5 goals and 6 assists. An overachieving season for him, but as we move down, you can see a lot of the players down here. Demarai Gray didn't really play that much. He might have picked up a lot of injuries this season, but with only 2 assists and 8 appearances, he didn't really play that much, and just ignore the players out on loan. But yeah, great season there from the boys. Let's hope for big things in the Premier League. Can they survive in season number 2? I sure hope so. Let's get straight into the second season. So season 2, the debut season in the Premier League for Aston Villa and the under-21s, and it looks like they finished in a comfortable mid-table position. As you can see here, they're only 1 point behind Bournemouth, sitting in 11th, and the team that came up with us, Norwich, sitting rock bottom of the Premier League with 29 points. So it just shows the depth in quality, the depth in class between us and other championship sides that came up the exact same season, but still a decent turnout for the English Wonderkids as we look towards the top of the table with Spurs, Man City, Chelsea, Manchester United all finishing in that top 4, Spurs winning the league there. But I'm feeling maybe a European push for season 3. I feel like we can at least qualify for the Europa League, but we're going to have to wait and see about that one. In the FA Cup, we did one better than last season, finishing in round 5, losing 1-0 to Newcastle at home. We actually ended up in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, this time losing 5-1 to Spurs, the winners of the Premier League. We lost to them on aggregate, a 3-0 second leg defeat as well, and they were the eventual champions in the end, so fair play to them. So here are our top performers of season 2, and yet again it's Rhys Nelson turning out on top. He's been a shining light for this side, growing +3 in overall as well. Harvey Barnes getting 8 goals and 9 assists in there, growing 2 overall. Wan-Bissaka doing 1 goal better than last season. Tammy Abraham, you'd expect a little more from him, our starting striker, but getting 7 goals in the Premier League is decent numbers for him. Lewin, our top goal scorer last season, not getting as many this season, only with 3, as well as Ryan Sessegnon with 3 goals and 3 assists. Da Silva with 5 goals of all people. Phil Foden with 2 goals and 5 assists, a decent output from him. James Madison improving baby steps upon last season, 5 goals and 3 assists. Chowdhury not doing too much. We have Gibbs White in there with 3 goals, 2 assists. Mason Mount also getting in amongst the action with 3 goals, and then Dominic Solanke getting 2 goals and 4 assists. So a very, I'd say, mediocre, and then yet again, Demarai Gray not really playing that much. No really star performers, no one really carrying this team. It's been more of a team effort. Besides Nelson and Barnes, it's really been team collective effort from the under-21 Englishmen. As we move on to the growth, it was a +3 for Foden, Gibbs White, Dow, and Nelson all getting +3s, and it's pretty much +2s all over the park, except for Tomori, Konsa, and Madison all getting a +1, but nonetheless, it is attributes and stat boosts all over the board. So like I said, I'm predicting big things for season number 3, hopefully a European push. We're gonna have to see where the Englishmen and Boothroyd take us. So it's second time lucky here in the Premier League, and we end up finishing in the top 8. The promising English Wonderkids have secured a top 8 position in the top 10, and we're literally only 1 point away from the top 6. So incredibly close. Everton finish in that Europa League spot with 67, Arsenal just 1 point ahead of us, and Chelsea go ahead of us on goal difference. But a very solid campaign from the England under-21s. Manchester City finishing on top, Liverpool, Man United, and Spurs in the top 4. And then we have Cardiff, Burnley, and Fulham all going back down to the Championship. In the FA Cup, we lost to the team I'm rebuilding live on Twitch. Yes, go down below in the description and follow me on Twitch. I'm live streaming now. Just a little cheeky plug, but we lost to them in round 6. Wow, that was a very cheeky plug, but onwards we go. Stoke City win 4-3 on penalties after it was 1-1 in round 3 of the Carabao Cup. Yet another early cup elimination for us as we move to our standout performers, and it's that man again at the top of the list, Rhys Nelson with 44 games. 7 goals and 1 assist. Clark Salter getting 3 goals in there. Harvey Barnes with yet another decent season, 5 goals and 6 assists for him. 10 clean sheets for our man Dean Henderson in the middle of the sticks. Calvert-Lewin with a decent season. Also Tammy Abraham improving with 8 goals there. 7 goals for Calvert-Lewin as we move on to James Madison getting 2 goals and 7 assists. So he's slowly improving as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting 2 goals and 1 assist. We move on to Ryan Sessegnon from left back, 6 goals and 2 assists. So Mason Mount's picked up a nasty injury there. 1 goal and 2 assists for him. Gibbs White with 1 goal and 4 assists. So yet again, like last season, Dominic Solanke 5 goals. It's pretty much a team effort from the Aston Villa boys, from the U21s. They're getting results. They're grinding out the results. Although they just missed out on European qualification, there was still overall growth and attribute growth all across the board this season. So in season number 4, I'm expecting at least Europa League qualification, if not a top 4 finish. We're setting the bar high here for the boys, but let's see how Boothroyd and his boys do in season number 4. So in season number 4, I think we set the bar too high and it got to the players' heads, and yeah, we're back at the start. We're back to the beginning of where we were in our first Premier League season, sitting in a comfortable mid-table position, literally 1 point away from the top 10, but very disappointing considering the high expectations we had, although it was Chelsea winning the league only with 70 points. Liverpool, Spurs and Everton finish up the top 4. Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Wolves, Brighton and Southampton all above us. But it's a Leicester City who we've stolen a lot of players off, Watford and West Brom, all going back down to the Championship. And we stumbled out one of the last hurdles here in the FA Cup, losing to Newcastle on penalties after it was 1-1. And in the Carabao Cup, it was a 3-2 L to Cardiff City in round 4. So in our top performers list, it's Tammy Abraham getting 13 goals and 2 assists in 42 matches. Meanwhile, Ryan Sessegnon is one of our top goal scorers here with 15 goals and 3 assists. Big ups him. Phil Foden with 7 assists. Rhys Nelson still a consistent performer. Calvert-Lewin being our top goal scorer this season with 16. Mason Mount 5 goals, 4 assists. Madison getting in the double figures for assists. As we move down the list, Dow gets 4 goals. Konsa gets 3. Meanwhile, not much action going on in the lower half of the contributors. Demarai Gray, for some reason, still not getting enough game time for me, but we move on to the attribute growth. And yeah, it's +2s, +1, similar stuff to what a lot of seasons has been. Only 1 +3 to Gibbs White, but yeah, otherwise it's still consistent growth all across the board. And now that most of their players are in their prime or certainly approaching their prime, I'd like to see it turned into results here. I know the defense is the main problem, specifically the centre-back positioning. Having under 80 defenders is a concern, but let's hope they can pull through in season number 5 and grind it out. But yeah, let's see what they got. So usually it's upwards progression we see from these U20, U21, U17 sides we put into career mode, but I feel like with these U21 English players that it's just been stagnation. I mean, there was mid-table and then they went up. It's been mid-table for 2 seasons now. 11th position for the Villain, 48 points, failing to make it into the top half of the table. Even though I was predicting big things for them, I wanted them to finish and qualify for European football, but Everton have taken out the title. Both Manchester clubs in the top 4, as well as Chelsea and Wolves climbing up to that 5th position. Cardiff, Brighton and Norwich all go back down to the Championship. But would you take a look at this? They failed in the league according to my lofty standards. They've had a bit of a cup run here. FA Cup final in their 5th season. We could go ahead and play this one at Wembley as well against Arsenal. This will be a classic. Can they do it in the big dance? We'll have to find out in order to make up for their poor league form. Carabao Cup on the other hand, we get knocked out early yet again. Round 3, we lose 2-1 to Leicester. And it's one final look at the squad before we head into this FA Cup final to resurrect some silverware for the U21s, as we have Rhys Nelson with 10 goals, 2 assists. Harvey Barnes, actually probably the surprise package out of all these players. He's probably been one of the most consistent players on this team. Tammy Abraham yet again being consistent up front. Our man leading the line with 14 goals and 4 assists. Ryan Sessegnon, 7 goals and 1 assist for him at left back. As we continue down, we got Kieran Dow, 7 goals and 3 assists for him. Gibbs White and Mason Mount getting 3 goals and 4 assists each. James Madison kind of being the disappointment for this side. I was expecting big things from him. 85 overall. Was our main playmaker in the middle. He has picked up a big injury for the final, so we won't be seeing him there, but he gets 7 assists this season. I was hoping a bit more for him. Phil Foden as well. Only 2 goals for the 87 rated Cam, as well as Chowdhury, 3 goals and 2 assists for him. And then Gray and Solanke not doing too well down there, but we move on to the growth across the team. And yeah, no +3s, all +2s, +1s, but most of the players are in their peak now, so you'd kind of expect it. This is the side going into the final at Wembley. Given Wan-Bissaka captaincy, I've put Gray in the middle of the park in replacement for Madison, but hopefully the right back can lift up some silverware here for the first time since season number 1. Well, here we are, the next generation of English talent taking on Arsenal at Wembley. It'll be a huge honour for the young Englishmen to get their hands on that trophy. Obviously, the under-21s are ready to take the world by storm. Can they snatch this match? Can they clutch it? See, Arsenal is standing in our way. Phil Foden ready for a big one, as well as Wan-Bissaka, the captain. Tammy Abraham will kick us off. Let's get it. Take that all day. Nelson can kickstart a counter-attack here. Tammy Abraham. It's Barnes, the man that was the surprise package of this side. He's going to put the ball through. It's Ryan Sessegnon. Can he find Tammy Abraham in the middle? He does so, but what a save from Bernd Leno, and he does a double save to follow it up as well. Through to DePaul. Surely we can clear that away, and Ronnie Lopez absolutely blasted that one over the bar. Feed that one through to Wan-Bissaka, the captain. He's floated it through to Rhys Nelson, and it's just wide of the post. I think it's offside anyway. Through to Nelson. Now Demarai Gray. The space is opened up for us here. Can we get a run going? It is Harvey Barnes scoring the opener 34 minutes in, and the English winger gets us off to the perfect start in the FA Cup here, kicking the corner flag down. Well in, mate. What a run as well. The space just opened up. The Arsenal defense did not know what to do, and we got there before Bellerin. Harvey Barnes smashing that one in for our first. It's going to be half time. Harvey Barnes is the difference between these two sides. 1-0 going into the break for the U21s. Hopefully they can continue it and secure that trophy. It's Demarai Gray. He's going to slide it through to Tammy Abraham. He's going to find Barnes. Phil Foden finds Abraham. That's a beautiful ball into the former gunner, Rhys Nelson. Oh, big tackle from Mount. He's recovered the ball in a good little position here. It's Demarai Gray. He can use his pace in this time of the match. It's Tammy Abraham. He's got to verse a few Arsenal defenders in his way. He'll give it off to Mason Mount, and that's a terrible shot from him though. Decent attack through to Mount. Surely we can kill the game off here. Phil Foden will find the ball through to Demarai Gray. Oh, that is scintillating, and it's off the post. So unlucky in this game. We should have wrapped this up ages ago. Well in. Foden finds Gray. Can Gray slip it through? It's going to be Barnes again for the double. It's going to be Gray to finish it, and it will be Gray to finish it. He has had a brilliant game, and he has produced a goal in the 92nd minute here. The left winger had to play as a makeshift centre forward, and he's done the job ever so well. Fired it low and hard past Bernd Leno, and it's drilled into that bottom left-hand corner, and that will secure us the FA Cup victory. What a strike from him as well. The number 7 gets his goal at Wembley. And that will be it. 2 unexpected heroes in Harvey Barnes and Demarai Gray, but that is how it will finish. We could have scored so many more. We could have wrapped it up so much earlier, but we continued to press. We got the finisher in the 90th, and that is all that she wrote. England under 21s in FIFA 19 career mode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video. There will be more UEFA under 21 career mode content to be coming to the channel, so make sure you keep your eyes out on that. Subscribe down below, hit the big red button. Wan-Bissaka, the man who might be a red soon, will lift up that FA Cup trophy. Follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description. Comment down below your favorite under 21 English wonder kid and what team I should cover next. That has been me, BCHD. Follow me on Twitch as well. I'm doing live streams every week, and there it is, Wan-Bissaka. He's holding it. He's lifting it. There we go. What a video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.